Hi guys, I have got a really fun page in my Pocket Page notebook for you today. The lovely Marisa sent me 4 of her Good Life printable kits, and I love printables. I will say though that the hardest part, the longest part of this process today was choosing which of the fabulous goodies here to print out. There are so many beautiful designs in these kits, and I knew I wasn't going to use all of them, so I had to pick out just a few to print. But as you can see here, I have printed out so much more than I actually need, because they are just so beautiful. Look at these colors. Could they be any more me? Anyway, I am going to use those today in this page, in my Pocket Page notebook. I've got these 2 photos of Lil after her last haircut, and I am going to pop those into the pocket, so I am just sticking them back to back before I put them together. Now, I've got a discount code for you down in the description box, so if you want to pick up any of these kits for yourself, I will leave the link to Marisa's shop and that discount code down there. But if you use the code D50, that's DEE50, you will get 50% off the digital kit. So that is a huge discount for you guys. So here's the basics for my kit. I'm going to add my photos down the bottom and sequins, of course. I can't do a fun page like this without sequins, and these papers just lend themselves so nicely to sequins. And it took me ages to try and pick out some patterns to use because they are all super beautiful. Now these sequins are actually ones I had put together in December for my December daily project, I think, but they worked so nicely with this kit that I'm going to use those here. So you can see what I'm basically doing. I've grabbed 2 of the Traveler's Notebook sized pattern papers, and I had just printed them out at home on my home printer, which is a Canon inkjet, and I've just printed them on regular printer paper. I think it's about 100 GSM, just plain white paper, because I don't want to add too much bulk to my page here. So I knew I wanted to use this beautiful floral on the left because it drew my eye immediately, and then I was just choosing which background, which paper, sorry, to put in the background there, and I couldn't go past the red and pink polka dot because, well, polka dot plus red and pink equals yes please. So that's where I'm going, and there are all these embellishment printables as well, which I did use my Silhouette software plus Photoshop sort of tutorial, so I will link that up here. Just that's how I cut them all out, but the shapes are super simple. You could really easily have just cut those out with scissors. There's lots of straight lines, just those few circles, which I think actually fit my, I want to say my 1-inch punch, but I just did it the easy way and did it on my Silhouette machine. So I stuck down these 2 papers here, and I've got my photo in the pocket, and you did see me pulling out all the little embellishments that I thought I might use. Obviously I'm not going to use all of these, but like I said, the kit is so full of stuff. I really had just so much to work with, and it didn't help with my indecision, put it that way. So I have pulled out a lot of stuff here, and I'm definitely not going to end up using it all. I printed out that journal card because it matched the floral pattern that it had. It had some tiny little green leaves in it, and because I haven't used that same floral, it's a slightly different version without the green. There is nothing else on my page that has green, and it kind of just stuck out like a sore thumb. So what I did instead was just trim off the floral pattern and use the little pink border there. That's where I'm going to put my journaling. And I've just placed that so that it's behind my photo when the page is shut. So it's just sort of a little bit of hidden journaling, I guess. It is fully visible when you flip the pocket page, but up until this point you can see here it just looks like there's a tab behind the photo. I added a couple of little pieces up the top on that right hand page too, just a label to bring in some of those golden yellow colors, and a little pink label that says, I think it says This Wonderful Life, and I did bend the edges a tiny bit, but not enough to, you know, make it too bulky. It just gives it a tiny bit of texture. Now this tag was so pretty and ties in those sort of peachy colors from the tab that I've put on the other side. So I wanted to add a little bit more texture to the page as well, so I just went and grabbed some of this kind of lacy ribbon out of my stash, and the hole on that tag, the tag was very small, but I did manage to shove that through there. I was never going to be able to tie it, so I did end up just stapling it with my tiny attacher. Now you've just seen me there were a couple of tabs that I had pulled out to the love in this, but because I've cut the shipping tag down, I wasn't going to be able to fit both of those on there, so instead I've just trimmed out those little words, and I've got like two tiny little words now. It says love this. And again, I did the same thing with this. The circle was just too large to fit into my little cluster there, so I cut off the H and put just the here, just tacked that under the tag there. So love this here is the little cluster at the top there. Now while I've been creating this page, I've been letting my fuse tool heat up nice and hot. That's the trick to these things. And I've just fused my photo down the bottom there. Because I've got a photo on both sides, that's why I glued those together at the start so that they don't sort of slip around in the pocket. I'm just going to go ahead and work on this pocket now. I don't have to worry too much about filling in the other side because the other side's filled in with a photo. Now I'm selectively scooping up these sequins. I kind of want to try and stick to the colors that are in the spread, and my little sequin mix there has some black stars in there, and I didn't want to add too much black into here. This is a really sort of light and colorful page, so I didn't want to add black in, so I was selectively scooping is what I call it. And I'm using this cardboard guide that I've made. I sort of made it accidentally. I made it for another page, but it's turned out to be super handy because I've got that vertical and the horizontal line on the card there, which gives me something to line up to make sure that my lines are straight, especially when I'm doing things like sequin pockets like this. Otherwise I would have nothing to line it up against. When you've got a card or some paper in there, it's a little bit easier. The sequins, it really does help to create a guide like that, and having this slightly thicker cardboard means that when I'm fusing anything into my pocket pages like this, it doesn't damage the page or any of the papers on the underside of it. So for the top of the pocket, I wanted to add another one of these really pretty pattern papers, so I've picked this pink triangle paper, and because I'm working on both sides, I just measured that out with my pencil and then folded it. So I'm going to have the same pattern on both sides. Here we will see when I flip this over in a second. See, the same pattern on both sides, and I just really love that kind of blockiness. So the pattern paper at the top there covers up both sets of clusters at the top of the page. If you didn't have that pocket there, having two clusters on either side of the page wouldn't really look that good. It doesn't balance out particularly well, but the paper hides them either way. So you kind of end up with like a 2-for-1 layout. You've got one layout on this side, and when you flip it over, you've got another layout on the other side. I added my journaling onto that label that I had there trimmed out, and I added it with a really dark navy blue pen because, again, I don't want to add any black to this layout. And the same thing goes for these alphas. I went and found some navy blue. I was really lucky I had the navy blue actually, and enough letters to spell out a spa day for my little Lil and her new haircut. Do check out Marisa's shop. There's some gorgeous stuff on there, and if you're like me, if you enjoy hybrid or you like digital scrapping, there are some really beautiful designs in this collection, and do not forget to use that 50% off code. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.